Hey, beautiful humans, how are you doing? I wanted to hop on today and talk about putting your finder on it. Are you ready for a soul-driven life and or business? Are you here to become the most abundant, vibrant, radiant, high manifesting version of your highly sensitive self? Are you here for that? Because I have something really important I want to invite you into, and it's this message today about putting your finder on it. Now, I know lots of times we talk about putting our finger on it, and that's originally what I was going to talk about today. And then I made this little typo, and I was like, I kind of like that. Instead of putting your finger on it, putting your finder on it. How do we put our finder on to cultivate, to orient our compass, to set our North Star as, directing us towards living a more soul-driven life, building a soul-driven business? If that is in, the desire house for you, how do we orient ourselves to get into it? What does it mean? And what can you start doing right now to put your finder on it? So if this is the first time we've met, my name is Lindsay. I am a highly sensitive manifesting mentor for other highly sensitive humans. And one of the things that has been coming up for me lately, and why I'm talking about this, is I've been having a lot of rich conversations with people that are just stepping into or stepping more deeply into their soul-driven work. And I am back in the ceremony saddle, so to speak. Yesterday, I facilitated a celebration of life. Some of you may not know that in my spare time, I am a lay chaplain. And so part of my ceremony work is facilitating, helping families create memorials. And that's what I've been up to for the past couple of weeks, which is why you haven't seen me. Yesterday was like a very full day for me, energetically holding this space for people to grieve. And it reminded me of what is our soul-driven work. It brought me back to this topic of, how do we claim? Do we want to claim a soul-driven life? Do we want to claim and pursue a soul-driven business? What does that mean? So if you are in the process of, finding that life is flat, life hasn't been fulfilled of things that you really are excited about, that challenge you in the right ways, right? Challenge and stretch you in the right ways. What you might be ready for is a more soul-oriented way of living in a soul-driven business. So let me know if you're joining me live. Say hello if you're here. And let me know if you are contemplating, maybe coming around to the fact that you would like something more in life. You want it to come from a different place in you, maybe rather than the mind or what some other, your family has raised you to say. You have to be this in the world. You have to do this in the world. This is appropriate. This is, if you're finding yourself stuck, stagnant in your career, maybe, or maybe just in life in general. If you're having this sense of like wanting something more, let me know if that's you, or let me know if you are already on your soul path, pursuing it in many different ways, education, spiritual exploration, building a business out of something that is coming from this deeper place in you. Let me know where you're at. So putting your finder on it, right? This is the question. This is the first place that we need to start putting our finder on. How do we find out that we need a change? How do we find out that what the next level version of ourselves, this higher, abundant, vibrating, radiant self, how do we find out that diving more into soul work, right? Leading more from our soul is the way to go. If you have the sense that there's this something deeper part of you, right? When I was first trying to figure out, like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? Why am I unsatisfied? And where do I want to go? What am I really meant here to do? One of the things that I had to sit back and contemplate was, have I been making decisions? Have I been orientating my life from this mind-based place versus this deeper heart-based, soul intuitive place. And I'd heard a lot of people talk about intuition and soul and heart, and I had never really been able to identify for myself, well, like, what's the difference? Like, what is the difference between using your mind to create things and your soul to create things? Using your mind to get answers versus using your soul. How do you hear your intuition so that you are coming more and directing your life more from this soul place? And this really just comes down to a basic thing of slowing down and learning to listen. There are subtle ways that your intuition speaks to you. Everybody has intuition. Everybody has this, these places in yourself where wisdom comes from. Places in your body, sensations, feelings. Maybe you get chills when something really resonates with you. Maybe you get like tingly fingers when something is really landing with you, or it's a warning, like, oh, don't go there. Or, there's different ways that your intuition speaks to you. And following your intuitive inner knowing, that is going to be your sign, like your pathway into leading, living, creating from a more soul-driven place. So let's say you've come to this part of your life where, your mind has been this beautiful vessel. And don't get me wrong, our mind can be a beautiful container of creation itself. Our mind is the place where we operationalize things that come from our soul out into the world. But if you've come to a place where you've been relying on your mind a lot, and specifically the kind of tricky part of the mind, which is the ego, right? The ego part of the mind, which is often the learned self of the mind, things you've picked up from everyone else, that you've been told by your parents, you've been told by society, that maybe even, you went through a university degree and it told you and put you in a box and said, you can only do this, you can only be this, you can only think this way, we do things this way. If you've been operating from that place for a long time, then what you get to do in order to move into this sense that there's something more, to come out of you, what you get to do is start to listen and tap in again to that inner space, to start to discern, okay, my mind, this ego part of my mind, right? Maybe this learned self needs to be unlearned. You get to start to separate and go, okay, where am I making decisions? Where am I following something that's been told to me versus what my inner self is telling me? And specifically, that gets to show up when you feel joyful, right? When you are doing something fully aligned with your soul, you will feel excitement and you will feel joy, like on a higher level than you might necessarily feel when you're doing something from another place. So let me know, are you here? Are you here for a soul-driven life in our business? Do you know that about yourself already? Do you know that? Have you already tapped into your soul and you're saying, yes, I want more of that in my life. I want to lead from there. I want to build from there. I want to create relationships from there. I want to build a business from there. I want to build a career from there. I want to shift my career from a soul place. And are you here to become the most abundant, vibrant, radiant, high manifesting, highly sensitive version of yourself? Drop that in the comments if you are here for that, because I want to continue this conversation about what it really takes to pursue a soul-driven life path, to build a soul-driven life, to build your soul-driven business. And like I said, this is all coming to, the surface for me because I've been, involved in some really deep and rich conversations lately. And yesterday stepped back into an element of my work that I've been separate for a long time. During the pandemic, I wasn't able to facilitate and hold ceremonies, celebrations of life, and weddings, which is something that I do as my side work as a lay chaplain. And I was really put back into that yesterday. And you guys, I got to tell you, There is something so, like, special, and it's such an honor and it's such a privilege when I am asked by a family to come in and help them hold their grief and support them in celebrating the life of someone that has passed away. And it brings so much to the surface for me to, especially when I'm standing up there and speaking words about life and what it means to have a precious life and what you do with it. And it really just fires me up to get back into, my community, the Bravery Lab, and get back out there onto social from this reaffirmed place, this relit fire within me, because I've been in that container of really realizing what it means when someone is standing up there and they're sharing stories. Um, People remember what you do. They remember what you make them feel like. They remember if you have pursued what has made you joyful. Your kids, the world, your colleagues, people know. People remember this about you and celebrate this about you. So if there's something that you would take away from today, take away that you have the permission, that you have the right, that you have this privilege to pursue a soul-driven life, that you have this blessing of a life to pursue a soul-driven business from something deeper within you, something radically different than maybe you have ever done before with your life. You have that blessing because you are alive, and it's a gift. And if there's something calling deep within you to explore, to go in, find out who you really are on a soul level, to lead your life by that, create a business by that, then I'm so glad that you are here, because that is something I'm so passionate about helping people do. So stay tuned, because I'm going to be creating a series of videos about what does it take? What does a soul-driven life ask of you? What does a soul-driven business really ask of you? And we're going to explore that through a number of videos. And so make sure you stay tuned. I will hopefully be hopping on at a regular time to share those videos with you, to share this topic with you, engage with you about it. And I look forward to seeing you say hello in the comments and letting me know where you're at and what you are here for, because I am here to support you. So that's it for today. Bye-bye, lovely humans. We'll see you again soon.